Yeah, we ready to go?
Yeah, we're ready, man. Well, I'm sure more people will come in, and I'll just let them in as it goes.
All right. Hey, everybody, thanks for coming. We're really appreciative. We're really grateful that you guys take the time to come in and learn from us, or hopefully we can learn from each other and kind of give out, some tips and tricks. A couple of things, this is not financial advice. Of course, consult with a financial professional, not legal advice. Consult with attorney. That's always good rules of thumb. Um, Also, this is not a sales type setup, so we're here to collaborate, teach each other, learn from each other. What you do outside the call is up to you, but inside the calls themselves, we want to try to keep it educational. And lastly, we do replay the video. So if you're talking and you're uncomfortable being on video or us replaying the video or whatever, turn your camera off if you're talking to us or whatever, if you feel uncomfortable with that. But we try to put it back out to the group as an educational tool. So I guess first things first, we're on the clock here a little bit and we wanted to talk about wins. Anybody got any wins this week, or anybody have anything in particular they want to ask, or fire away. Travis is he's kind of the wholesale guy. I'm kind of the creative finance guy. I'm a flipping guy, rental guy, so I kind of play in that space a little more. Travis is lead gen, lead follow up, wholesale assignment. So that's kind of what we do. So if anybody has anything, raise your hand or whatever, and Travis will unmute you and we can talk. All right, Matt.
Yeah,
Am
Matt's
I good to
already
go?
unmuted.
Yep.
Yeah,
I've
you're
got a
good.
win. I've got a win for myself and for Eric Fuller at the same time.
All right.
So the first flip me and Drew did failed. So we had to do cash out refinance and we got the clear to close yesterday, I think. So now we're done, and Eric Fuller's, you know, uh Creative Cash Partners is involved with that too. So that's a win for both of us. And then me and Drew do wholesale out of state. We do wholesale in North Carolina and Georgia, and
Uh-huh.
so we just implemented results driven. We're in their small group. If you guys ever heard of Tiffany and Josh Hawk,
Hmm.
so this is our first month with them, and I think that's been the best. Probably the biggest thing that happened to us is learning their course and how they do everything. But we have 8 closings scheduled for the end of this month in December. So like the last week of this month and then December as well for on the wholesale side.
Nice. Very good. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
That's what it's all about. So basically, what you're saying is you had a flip that didn't sell,
Yeah,
and you guys went back in, cash out, refinance, and now you're going to rent it or do
yeah,
something different with it.
yeah. We've got the tenant. He's a good really. We weren't going to do that unless we found a really great tenant. I think that was probably God, but this is a Toyota employee who I semi know, and he's a really great tenant so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were successful with the cash out refinance. So
I tell people all the time, a lot of the rentals that I still have 15 years later are flips. They started
yeah,
out, we're going to flip them, and this is going to be a great flip, and I'm going to do this or that, and it didn't work out. And so a lot of them I still have, still own, still rent. So yeah. So when you're doing flips out there, it's a good rule of thumb. Make sure that it's more than just a flip. Make sure that you can maybe do some creative finance with it, or make sure that you can rent it and cash flow it, because sometimes market conditions change, something happens in the market. I had a lot of properties during COVID when COVID first happened, and you're talking about even with the years of experience I had in the business, you holding all these properties and you got tons of money tied up, and all of a sudden the world stands still, and you're like, uh-oh, now what? So
yeah,
and there wasn't any kind of a playbook to fall back on with something like that.
yeah.
So we rented some stuff, and luckily enough, the market turned back around, and real estate agents really, people were taking their houses off the market because they didn't want people coming into their houses, because there were so many unknowns about the COVID and all that. So the people that had vacant houses were like, hey. Yeah. And so, man, I had some stuff that was vacant and agents were just blowing it up, showing it day and night, and so, it worked out. But
Yeah,
congratulations. Anything else? Go ahead.
that's it, man. That's pretty
All
much
right.
it.
Any other wins that anybody like to share?
Bobby, I know you got some wins, Bobby. I see
Come
you
on, Bobby, talk
hiding.
about it. I know you got a bunch of houses going.
Closing on the next flip tomorrow, and a cash out refi.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, what happened with that situation with the auction?
Oh yeah. So last week closed one that was in pre-foreclosure. Auction was scheduled at 11 a.m. on Tuesday. We got the confirmation from the trustee that they accepted our wire at 10:30.
Wow.
So we stopped the foreclosure 30 minutes before the auction.
Is it That's really good, man. Is that your first one that you've ever stopped, or have you done this before?
No, so I've bought in pre-foreclosure, but this one it was through Shell Point Mortgage was the lender or at least the servicer. And they just would not cooperate giving us a payoff. I mean, we had like a month to spare and it just came down to the absolute last minute. I've never had it get that close before on a pre-foreclosure.
Oh, it's exciting. What's the biggest tip you can give out of what you've learned from just handling with that?
It was just persistence. I finally at the end I had to pay. So there was the wife owned the house and was selling it. Her ex-husband was on the mortgage still, and they hated each other. So I had to pay the ex-husband $100 to come sit with us at Wendy's to call the servicer to talk to us, where we had everyone involved here at the same time. This was the day before the auction, so they would actually release the payoff to my closing office. So, I mean, you just on a deal like that, you just have to be willing to do whatever it takes to get it closed and get creative on the situation.
Love it. Love it. That's
Yeah,
what's up, man. I
That-
appreciate you coming.
That's
yeah,
Um,
good stuff,
sure. Thank you
Bob.
guys for doing this.
Hey, man,
Congrats, Bob.
congratulations on everything. I know you've been red hot up there. So,
Yeah, thank you.
I tell him everything. I tell him, man, Bobby just called me. He's working on like 100 houses.
I need to sell a couple. Anybody can buy them. You got to be able to sell
that's all right.
Yeah,
That's the hard part sometimes, ain't it? Right?
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
All right.
I got
Anybody?
some private money wins. I mean, just doing deals. We funded 200K on Friday. Got another 350K that should fund probably next week, and then just recently got a request for a bridge loan about 900K on an RV park, 33% loan to value, which is music to the ears of any private money lender. So lots of private money happening. That's all good.
That's good, man. How long you been lending money, and tell us a little bit about the background of it.
Yeah, sure. So I was originally an engineer and then started dabbling in real estate on the side, did some short-term rentals, long-term rentals. End of 2022, I decided to start getting into private money lending just to see if it would suit the lifestyle better and just be a good fit for what I wanted to do, mostly for geographic freedom and for more time with my family. My wife is from Brazil. We lived most of our married life in Gainesville, Florida, but she wanted to move back to Brazil, so now we're living in Brazil. So as much as I love burrs and fix and flips, it's tough to do that when you're so far away. But here from Brazil, I can wire money from my laptop, write up PML docs, send an inspector to go visit a house or whatever. So been since 2023, like very beginning that I started lending out my own money. And then when all that was gone, started getting other partners to lend their money with me and made a company out of it. So that's basically how it started. And now we're doing, loans and partnerships, quite a bit of those.
That's impressive. That's why I invited you on here, man. I felt like you could bring a lot of value to people. If you want to just comment in the chat your phone number, if anybody ever wants to
Sure.
reach you. I appreciate you. Hopefully you can come back on, and maybe one day we can do we can figure out, me, you and David can talk, and we can do a little whole segment on private money.
Sure. Yep, I put my number in the chat. I got the recurring Zoom on my calendar to show up here.
Okay, cool. I appreciate you, man.
Yep.
Anybody?
Chris, can you hear me, Chris? Christine?
Yes, I'm here. I thought you were talking to somebody else. My apologies.
No, you're good. I did call you Chris. You're being quiet over there.
Now I know.
I just I just wanted to hear from you. How you been since last week, and do you have any questions for
Well,
us?
to be honest, I've been a lot's been going on with me. So I've been trying to close some deals. I had one land deal. It's a difference between $6,000. This guy doesn't want to budge in price. And I told him, I said, there's land deals, and then there's also other properties that are pending as well in price. But looks like this guy is a real estate agent, and I think that's the reason why. So other than that, I mean, I've also been trying to. I'm working behind the scenes because I'm a one-man band, so to speak. So I'm trying to revamp myself in the wholesale space, as well as I started working with lenders as well, but not private money. I'm direct. I'm a broker. I'm direct to Found Ever. That's the company that I'm with. So I'm behind the scenes trying to build on that as well. Plus also helping with one of my relatives' business. He has a technology business, so I'm helping there too. So I've been a little bit busy.
Sounds like you've been busy.
Hmm.
Do you is there anything that we could do for you?
Um, I mean, basically is I'm just trying to close the deals. I think that sometimes the price, the problem is I'm not direct. The couple deals that I have, I'm not direct to seller. And I think that's another discouraging part to the buyer, maybe because of the price. I'm not sure, but they don't know that I'm not direct to seller yet.
Okay.
I communicate as I'm the direct person to, that I have this person under contract. So, but at the end, I think they're not serious buyers. Otherwise, it would have moved, you know. So I need contacts with more buyers. That's the thing. The serious buyers, not ones that fake it till you make it. No,
What area is it in?
Houston.
It's in Houston. Okay.
Yep.
Um, what I'll do for you, if you want to message me after this,
Okay.
I will pull up, a cash buyers list for you, and I will send it to you. I don't know
Oh
if
wow.
you might already have some of them.
I may have some, or I may not. And
Yeah.
that would be a help for me. I would really appreciate that.
Hey, you're welcome. And I can even get on a separate call with you if you want.
Hmm.
Just doing like a role play where we could kind of
Hmm.
like role play how that conversation might go with the buyer.
Sure.
That way when you
And
get on the phone with them, maybe you had that practice.
okay. And also I can tell you what I'm telling them, and maybe I'm saying something wrong, or maybe I'm saying something right. We don't know.
What are you telling them? What are you saying?
Okay, like for example, I'm gonna pull up one of the texts now. Like, hold on. Um,
So you're doing a
I
lot
s-
of this in
it,
text?
well, phone call as well. I started with phone call with this person, and now I'm text, so SMS.
Okay.
Um, the guy told me, he said, I see it's on the market at 75K. Would they be able to take 50K? No, they cannot take 50K. The lowest that they can take is 56, I told him. Um, they have a lot that's pending for sale that's nearby. And also they have single family homes which have the same acreage of lots that's together. They're pending as well, pending for sale. So I told him, I said, I understand. I said, they also have another lot that is a 0.39 acre that is pending at 77K. And I gave him that address. And he has yet to respond. It's been 2 days.
Okay. Does anybody have any advice for Christine, like how they would handle it? David, do you have anything that you would like to chime in? Anybody that works like does direct to agent marketing, works with a lot of agents and brokers?
And looks like the agent is a buyer. So,
Okay.
they're trying to lowball as much as they can, I imagine.
Gosh, everybody's coming in at one time on me right now. Hold on one second. Okay. But yeah, if you message me, I'll get on another call with you. We'll go over. I'll send you the buyers list. I think that when you're dealing with buyers in Houston, there's just so many people that are contacting them. There's so much land available. There's so much house. It's a
Mhm.
big place.
Texas itself is a lot.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
I would recommend, I wouldn't do a lot of
By
texting in
somebody
a
else.
market like that. Like
Okay.
texting, I would get people straight on the phone. And Bobby,
Uh-huh.
you've done a lot of deals with buyers. You've done a lot of negotiating with people who don't want to pay your price, right? Like what advice would you give her?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if this is good advice or not. My advice is normally just to have leverage. Like when I'm talking to buyers, if you're just only wanting to wholesale it, it's
Hmm.
nice either having leverage in the fact that it's such a good deal you don't mind to close on it. So you can just
Hmm.
stick to your number and say, look, this is what I'm putting it out at. I know it's worth this. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine. I'm just going to close on it. Or
Okay.
two, by having enough buyers that you can kind of have their offers compete against each other.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
to me, when you're wholesaling, you're just trying to get the highest and best. So if, the highest and
Okay.
best is only a 10 grand fee, it is what it is. If you can get
Hmm.
more, bring in more buyers and just see how high up you can get it.
Okay.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you helping me out there, giving her some good advice.
For sure.
Let's see who else we got on here that hasn't talked yet. Ricky, what are you doing over there?
I just been pulling lists, making calls. I was trying to tidy up a list this morning. That's about it. I mean, I guess when I was doing all my buying was back in 2009, 2012. And I guess I'm stuck in that era because the prices is just nowhere near what they was back then. So I'm trying to adjust, my offers and stuff. Things
Yeah.
have just doubled here. I mean, it's just, and I'm sure they have everywhere else too, but it's just, I got to get used to that.
Yeah, me and David struggle with that a lot. David, you got anything you'd like to say about what Ricky just said?
No, man, it is that way. I mean, it's we were doing full rehab flips at, you know, 45, $47 a square foot in 2018, and now we're doing them at $72 a square foot.
Right.
So, it's kind of hard, but that's just the numbers, and that's what it costs now, and that's the price of materials and everything else. So
Just got to adjust.
you just got to adjust and just, try to be comfortable with it as much as possible.
Exactly.
It's I remember selling new construction houses at $42 a square foot, when I had a real estate brokerage years ago. So yeah, it's just incredible.
Do
Uh,
we know the average of what it takes today across the country to build a new house, new construction?
yeah, I don't know what it is across the country.
Would anybody know? I'm just curious. I mean, $40 a square foot for a new construction, that's a hell of a deal.
That was back in the day though, but yeah.
Exactly.
Uh,
Some of the to be honest, I see some of the deals some of the deals that are out there is $171 a square foot, but I'm not sure
Yeah.
how accurate that is, but that's what I've seen lately.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of date myself with that 40, 42 a square foot, but yeah, that's yeah, that's what we used to sell them for back in the day. So, it's just something we got to get used to, this price appreciation, and particularly here in West Virginia, where, I've been in this market a long time. We haven't seen that type of appreciation. I mean, we just don't see it. I mean, we'd see 3% a year, year over year, 4%. That was about it. Then all of a sudden, 2019, 2020, boom, and our market took off, and so it's kind of been an adjustment for everybody that's been in this market here around West Virginia, Charleston, Huntington, just all over the state, really.
Yeah.
So
I have a question.
Okay.
Do you think the market is overvalued at this moment? A lot of, I guess, a lot of hearsay that's out there. That's what we're hearing now. A lot of the market is overvalued. That's the reason why sellers are want to sell so high, but
hmm.
buyers are like, no, I'm not buying at that price. Is that accurate?
I mean, I think the price is up for the interest rate, but if we see interest rate drops, I think you'll see the market heat back up. I really do. So
I
that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I try not to get involved in what the market's doing. I just try to get involved in what I'm doing, conversations, offers, meeting people, giving solutions. I find that no matter what market I'm in, that protects me and helps me. Um, I think the market's a lot different than when I got started. When I got started 2018, 2019, it was way different than it is today. I could go out to a house and that seller probably never talked to nobody else. And, it took 90 days to sell a house. And I feel like lately I feel a lot, it reminds me a lot of back then, the conversations I'm having with people. Some houses I am watching on the market, it's taken a little longer to do that. So I think that's kind of like the market transitioning a little bit. I think that it's definitely high prices, but a lot of these, you're seeing a lot of reductions in a lot of areas. Like if you go to Putnam County, you're not seeing a lot of reductions, right? And that's a high like a dollar area. That's where there's not a lot of property. But then you go to an area like Kanawha that's more distressed, and you're having a lot more price reductions, more days on market. So I think it's going to be dependent on where you're at. I think a place like Houston, there's just so much activity, girl. You don't have nothing to worry about a market change. Like there's just so much going on in a place like that. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. What about you, Preston? I see you over there. You're being quiet. How you doing today?
Always quiet. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. I gotta stop right now and just you have to tell people. So for the past 7 years, you gotta tell people what you did in 7 years time. Like
Okay.
on your own and the story real quick.
Yeah, just a little background. So my wife and I, we used to work for a skateboard company called Element, and so basically we would travel a lot. Uh, and we built a camper that fit on the back of our Dodge Cummins and lived out of that for 7.5 years. Traveled to California for the summers, and then went to where I live now is near Mount Baker in Washington. And we lived out of a trailer park for a really long time, basically raising a bunch of money just to build our house here in Washington. So, uh, yeah, I couldn't afford a house out here. It's pretty top dollar, so I had to build it myself, which took many years off my life, pretty much. But yeah, that's a quick synopsis of uh, what I'm doing. And basically, after building the house, in which I finished almost 2 years ago, basically it just got me heated to get into the real estate game, I guess, a little bit more and try and see if I can help people out.
Love it, man. Like I told you on our first call the other day, I just love the consistency. Anybody that can, live in a camper or a trailer park for 7 years and consistently build that house and complete it, man.
Yeah,
That's what it takes to
I
be a
appreciate that.
wholesaler. If you can do that, you can wholesale houses, no doubt.
Yeah,
Piece of
no,
cake.
it was nuts. And honestly, I don't even know how my wife and I are still together after that. I mean, I love her, she loves me, obviously, and we get that question quite a bit when people hear our story, and it's pretty funny. It's like essentially we were homeless for 7.5 years and living out of a 6x8 box. Yeah, pretty small living quarters.
Yeah, it's wild. So what brings you here? Just so people know, like what brings you to the call? What are you looking to do, and how can people reach out to you?
Yeah, so basically, I've turned more into acquisitions, and like essentially bird dogging. I have buyers that are super awesome to work with right now, and basically, what we're looking for is trying to find houses that have enough square footage where we can create co-living. And I think that's like super, I feel like that's the most responsible thing to do in real estate currently. Um, a lot of my friends, they can't afford houses or anything like that these days. So we might as well just give them something to live in and give them cheaper options. And yeah, so anything that hits the right amount of square footage in these locations in Georgia, are a really good opportunity for my buyers to purchase. So basically, just network a little bit more, see if I can um, ride some coattails with some extra wholesalers, see if they want to move some stuff that have the right requirements.
Sweet. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys.
Matt does a lot in Georgia. You and
Okay.
Matt should probably connect.
Yeah, Matt Kirby over there.
Yeah.
Sick.
Me and you will be best friends if you're doing stuff in Georgia.
Oh yeah.
Um, there's a couple cities that we got into this year that we really like a lot. I think the main thing for us is we can't get away from the 2 1s. Like we've been killing 2 bedroom 1 bath small flips and like long-term rental like around Mercer College.
Hmm.
But I run across a lot of deals that I wouldn't have buyers for.
Totally.
Um,
Matt, also, you guys need to connect with Ricky. Ricky's in Warner Robins. So, that's what I was telling you the other day, Matt. I was telling you about Ricky. So Ricky's in
yep.
Warner Robins, and I like Warner Robins a lot compared to Macon. So maybe you
Yeah,
should
that's
have
what I
a
was just
conversation.
ask y'all. What part of Georgia y'all in? So you say Mercer up around Macon, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. We looked at Warner Robins this morning, Travis. You told me that me and Drew were doing some marketing down there. One of the things I wanted to ask really quick, especially with Georgia, our main form of marketing with wholesale right now is text SMS. So I don't know if you guys know about like the lawsuits and stuff like that with
A lot going on.
so we're definitely trying to get out of doing that, but it's been really good recently. So if we weren't to do SMS in markets like Macon and North Carolina, Charlotte, Greensboro, Fayetteville, High Point, what do you recommend instead of SMS? I think that Macon responds really well to SMS instead of like cold callers.
High, high compliant. You want to deal with compliant marketing, where people are opting in. That's the future. All this other stuff. Me and Davis talked about this over and over. The old stuff is what's going to last. Cold calls are going to be harder to do. Texting is going to be harder to do because all this AI regulations. So the future is opt in. So get you a good website going. Get your SEO right. Start looking into different type of online ads. It gets expensive, and that's where everybody's going to want to go. But look into that. And I mean, I don't do this, but I know guys that do radio in other places. Like here in West Virginia, I've never tried it, but I know people that do it in like Arkansas and different places like that, and it works really well you know so I would just practice. I would test different things out. I wouldn't pick one. I would go into a market and I would test different things and then
Yep.
say, well, like in Macon they're replying really good with SMS, but in Fayetteville, North Carolina, they don't respond to my text as much. So I would test new ways to do it and then pick the one that's working the best in that market, because I promise all these different markets that you mentioned, everybody's going to respond differently in different type of marketing methods.
Yeah.
But that's my thing. I think that if you can just go the compliant route, where they have to opt in to reach you, that's
Yeah.
the way to do it. Because, you can text all you want and you might not ever have a lawsuit. But then you might text and you might get hit with some. These litigators are out there, and now there's courses. I'm not an attorney, just like David said. I'm not giving you attorney advice, but there are people out here right now selling courses just to teach people how to sue people who get unwanted texts. Like it's a course I can buy. I can go buy a course that says, getting unwanted texts. Here's how to sue these people.
Wow.
You
That
know,
was my next question was how worried should we be about text blasting?
I think you should talk to an attorney in your area as soon as possible if you are sending out text every day. That's my opinion. Because, if you're doing massive and a lot, some people, they're making a lot of money and they don't care about lawsuits. I don't want that headache personally. I'm trying to be as nice as I can to people. And I don't, if they're telling me they don't want to text, I don't want to text them. That's just how I am.
Yeah. Pretty straight up.
Yeah, man. So SMS is working good for you right now?
It's yeah, it's been really good. My partner Drew would know a lot more about like the actual like breakdown of how much cost per lead is, but I think our most recent text blast was ridiculous. It was like I think it was 1,200 leads, or no, sorry, 1,200 responses I think the leads cost us $1.03 per lead, which is like was insane. And we closed two. I closed two of those, like assigned two, funded two, out of those deals. So it's been really really good. But the law, the laws are we're not hip with that stuff. I mean, we're trying to study as much as possible. People are like, yeah, the SMS stuff works really well, but it's not necessarily the most legal thing to do.
No. When I first started, I would do SMS and ringless voicemails.
Yeah,
And man, those were the best things ever. SMS and ringless voicemails got so many responses, but over time, it's just more regulated and it's just going to keep happening. So the more you base your business off SMS, just know that you're risking in the future not having a marketing plan.
we're yeah
In
we're,
the future, it's going to happen.
we're trying to get out of it. It's the number one thing I think we're trying to do is get out of it.
Well,
Um,
keep texting for now and text some people up here in Charleston and send me and David some deals.
I've got a few. I've got a few. We can talk about it later on, but I've got a few. I have two properties under contract in West Virginia right now that I'm gonna have to probably send a cancellation to if I can't find a buyer, and that's probably within the next week. So if you guys want to look at those, I'll text them to you.
Okay, cool. I appreciate it. Um, Anybody else have any questions? I know there's a few people that don't have their cameras on. Christian, Christopher, Joel, Jared. I see Jared on here. Does anybody else, have anything they want to say?
Hey, so as far as the marketing, especially here in Georgia, I mean, I've been doing a lot of cold calls here lately, which I used to hate it, but I'm learning to love it. What is the best marketing, strategy here? I do send out postcards as well. Probably not as many as a lot of people, but I just try to hit that niche market. I'm not, I don't want to be the shotgun approach. I just want to hit, who I really think is motivated.
Okay. Did anybody want to answer that? Matt, you can answer.
Well, within, I guess get an attorney first, but the I think that the best group of people, actually, 100% of our deals that we've done in Macon have been from retired landlords. Just letting you know, 100% of them, every single one of them has been from retired landlords. And to me, they're the best sellers because they know real estate, they understand what I'm doing, and they understand our process. They know exactly what we're doing too. I don't have to lie to them. And it also has given me a ton of connections to other landlords that have a lot of property. Macon is, no offense, I'm the youngest person in here, but it's a lot of the land. I don't know, maybe I'm not the youngest person in here, but the landlords are usually like 65 to 70-year-old white dudes that grew up in Georgia, and like they have a ton of property.
Yeah.
Like I would say a lot of them have portfolios of
Right.
10 plus.
So you're basically in Macon. I mean, I know a lot of people that's got what I call shotgun houses. They got to be totally gutted in bad areas, so your stuff's gonna get stolen while you're working on them. So
Mhm.
the properties you're looking at is probably in a little bit better areas, got tenants in it, don't need no major rehab and stuff like that.
So I would say, Houston Avenue.
Yep.
So if you can, the further you go away from Avenue, the better
Yep.
in Macon. But there are a couple, there was a few there that we were able to move, like a sign and fund. Um, but I think that, yeah, the further away you are from Houston Avenue, the better the area is. Um, it's mostly just been 2 bedroom, 1 bath houses we're assigning to someone who wants to be a landlord, not flips.
Cool.
But
Yeah. I like Macon because it's a small market. I like small markets. I've done deals in Macon, Akron, Charles. These are all small markets. So I think that in small markets, cold calling is great. Direct mail is great. SMS is great. These are small market type of marketing, in my opinion. So I think cold calling is great. You just got to spend a lot of time doing it. You gotta.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't like the time it takes to cold call.
Well, that's why I try to like to hit the people that I think is going to be motivated. I don't like to pull a list and just wham
No.
bam the whole list. I like to go through them and pick and choose, I guess.
Yeah.
And that
One
in
thing that
itself
I
is time
found
consuming.
when you're cold calling, what I found in all the deals that we usually do is there's two filters involved. Off market and usually free and clear. I don't do a lot of sub two. We don't do a lot of that. Like we get a lot of those leads through PPC, but usually if I'm cold calling targeting, I'm trying to do cash deals. So it's usually off market and it's usually free and clear with a layer on top of it, a probate, a tax lien, something else going on with it. So if I was going into Bibb County or whatever county around Macon or that area, I would literally pull that list off market free and clear, and then I'd go after taxes. I'd go all those hot ones. What was you saying, Matt?
The general idea with Macon is right now it is older landlords that are retiring that are selling to younger landlords that are gentrifying that area.
Mm,
I think that is like the way to describe Macon right now for us
nice.
is all
Okay.
of our buyers are younger.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Ricky?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many questions. I mean, there's a lot of good information here. I'm glad you created this group, and I'd like to connect with anybody working in Georgia, especially Macon and Warner Robins.
I like your questions, man. You come up with some intelligent questions, man. You got any more?
Who you talking to?
You.
They're not intelligent to me. I'm just trying to, like everybody else, I'm just trying to
I'm
learn.
just playing. I'm just making you feel good, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, what about you, David? What are you doing over there?
You talking about me?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Oh, just listening in, seeing where maybe I can help a little bit. But we see the same thing here. We see a lot of tired landlords in West Virginia as well. I mean, we're first or second. I think we're second now in age of population here in West Virginia. So we see a lot of that. And Travis and I, we kind of we target tired landlords quite a bit with postcards. We do a lot of PPC, and I said about a year ago, and I said I was going to become, and I told Travis this, I'm going to become the best PPC man in the business. I was tired of hiring companies to do PPC. They're taking my money. I don't feel like I'm getting anything from it. So I started sitting down at night watching Think Media on YouTube. Every night I'd sit at the house and watch and learn and set about to become a true PPC man and understand how it works. Uh, do all kinds of meetings with the Google guys and stuff and try to get better at it. And it's really helped our business. The PPC, our leads have gotten a lot better, a lot hotter, and we've done really well with it over the last 6 months. So that's what we do. A little old fashioned with the postcard, but they work. They work, and PPC always works. So that's what we're doing.
I love the PPC leads. Those are my favorite. If I could tell you guys right now my favorite lead source, it's definitely those online generated leads that come from Google. Gosh, best leads I've ever. You want me to be happy? Send me some of those leads, okay? I'll talk to them all day long. Because there's urgency there. It's like, if you have a plumbing issue, you go to Google, you have an urgency, something going on. When I cold call you, you probably don't have any urgency at that time. When I send you a text, you might hit people at the right time. That's when the numbers game comes into play. But with PPC, it's not a lot of numbers. There's not a lot of leads. You're just working through them, figuring out what you want to do. If you can help them, sometimes you can't. But I love PPC, guys. If you guys get started and learn it, in the next 5 to 10 years, and learn AI, all this AI search engine optimization stuff. If you can learn how to be at the top of all of that, that's the biggest key in this whole call today. Those AI searching, because everything's based off Google, but what Google's done all this time is they've done this, algorithm where they have their ads set, but what AI's done is confuse their Google algorithm. So now their Google algorithm's relearning all of this stuff. So if we can get, as investors, everybody on this call can make sure they have a website, make sure their website is in AI search engines, and that ChatGPT, Gemini, and all of these different bots can find you. That's the key, because people are going to just be talking to this AI in the future, and you want your brand to show up, you know? And also, Google's doing this thing, just a tip. If you guys are going to do ads, and then I'll stop talking. If you guys are going to do ads, make sure you answer the phone. I mean, answer the phone soon as it rings. Because every time you miss a call, you're telling the Google algorithm that this person and this company's no good, and we're going to start sending them to the next company that will answer the phone. Because their computers are reading that now. Is this person answering or not? So that's just a good tip. If you're spending money on those ads, man, make sure you answer the phone every time if you can.
Yeah, the last thing we do, and we touched on it on the last call, and for those of you that was on that call, is I do a lot of direct to agent type marketing. I come from the real estate brokerage space. I was a broker for over 20 some years, and so I know the space, know a lot of the agents, they know me, and so I work that as well. And we tend to get some deals, direct from agents. We kind of we work with them and we teach them kind of, I kind of tell them what I'm looking for, and they before long you get 8 or 9 agents that understand what you're doing, so you can get some pretty good deals from them. Go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Joel, I see you on here, man. I see you had a question. You want to hop on here and introduce yourself? I can't hear you. There
Oh,
you
hey,
go.
hello, guys. Yes, sorry that I had my camera turned off early. I'm in my lunch time. I just want to be here with you, listening and learning from all of you guys. Early, Matt was talking about cancellation fee. I would like to know a little more deep about it, what that mean when you have the contract, what that mean when he say cancellation fee.
Okay, who mentioned the cancellation fee?
Matt mentioned
Okay,
something like that.
Matt.
I'm I mentioned a cancellation. I don't remember I don't recall mentioning a cancellation fee. What do you mean canceling on a sell? Oh. I have to cancel. There's a couple properties that I have struggled to find a buyer for, and so I'm going to have to break the bad news to the seller that we're not going to be able to close.
Yeah, okay. So there's no fee attached to that. You're just canceling.
Well, my fee is I lost the projected profit that I would
Okay,
have.
so
I
there
guess
you
that's
go. So his cancellation fee is he's not getting paid. Okay,
yeah,
that's what he meant. Now sometimes you might have, like, if you put down earnest money, to cancel you might have to lose that earnest money.
yeah.
If that in certain situations. I don't know. Is there any other way there would be a cancellation fee, David, in anything like that? Have you ever?
I wouldn't think so, no.
Okay.
I have seen some dispo companies that are tough put a dollar amount per day that you're late to close.
Oh wow. That's crazy, isn't it? You got to watch who you sign up with and do business with, man. There's
Yeah.
some sharks out here for
Oh
sure.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the ones he canceled, I mean, they would not renegotiate. I mean, it was pretty much set in stone what y'all come to.
I haven't canceled them yet. There's one in they're both in Ricky, I'm out of I live in West Virginia, but I do wholesale. Me and Drew do wholesale in North Carolina and Georgia. The two deals right now that I'm gonna have to send cancellations to if we can't figure anything out, David and Travis, is in they're both in Charleston, West Virginia.
Okay.
Is everyone in here? Is the only people in here from West Virginia, David and Travis?
Yeah,
And
Bobby was in here earlier. He's in West Virginia. Um,
Eric's basically in West Virginia. He funds all my friends and I.
I was in Charleston just a while ago. I had a little Charleston meetup there. I've been to Morgantown, like Cooper's Rock. That's your background, isn't it, Travis?
I thought maybe so. I don't know. I stole it from Google. They're probably gonna get me with a cease and desist.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, Ricky, I didn't think that people were going to talk about Georgia, but do you know any people like buying, selling, or wholesaling in Atlanta?
Not really, because I've always been a local type person. Man, I hear names,
Okay.
but I don't really know of anyone. Now, I might, when I'm talking to y'all, I didn't even want to go to Macon, but I might be willing to go to Macon in Houston County here where I'm at. I just like to stay kind of local.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So I guess it's not as relevant to you. Maybe relevant to you, Matt, but I wasn't going to mention it because I didn't think we'd bring up Georgia. But since we are in Atlanta, I can do a no doc PML loan. Like no credit check, no background. You can be a serial killer. Just doesn't matter if your credit score is in the dumps. Basically asset based only because we've got fix and flip crews there and it's such a fast and easy foreclosure. I've done it several times compared to any state. So anyways, like it's just purely asset based. If the asset is low loan to value, we recently funded a shopping center that was halfway finished on rehab. Like
Uh,
no other institutional lender would fund that, but we will since it's
Yeah.
low loan to value, private money, fast close. So if anybody knows wholesalers in Atlanta or needs like a true no doc PML, we can do that in Atlanta specifically.
I guess
Awesome.
I'm old school. I like to be where I can see it, put my hands on it, and go over there to work site if I need to, you know.
Yeah.
Yep, I totally get it.
You know that you guys are that are in Georgia. Are you guys aware of the direct mail law in Georgia?
No, tell me about it.
Yeah, I'm like again, I know I'm giving you a lot of attorney things, but I'm not an attorney, so talk to an attorney about this. But in Georgia right now, you can't mail about property unless you have certain disclosures on your mail piece.
Really?
Yeah, it has to have disclosures. You know, you're not a registered agent. This is a solicitation. You do not have to respond to this. And you have to have it in certain size font. You know, and it has to be visible or they can fine you for it. Yeah, even if I'm in West Virginia and I send a mail piece to someone who owns a property in West Virginia, but I'm mailing Georgia, technically, I believe I could still get fined for it. You know.
Wow.
So if you are sending mail, you want to make sure your mail piece is up to date and legal in Georgia.
I didn't know that. I knew
Yeah.
about the cold calls and the Texas and all that, but
Yeah. And in Atlanta, you got to watch what you do at all for marketing to sellers.
yeah.
You know, like there's a whole jurisdiction on marketing there. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, look like it's coming down to attractive marketing, you know, something to get people's eye to where they will come to
Yep.
you. I mean,
Opt in. If they
yeah,
opt into you and they raise their hand, that's the future. You know,
exactly.
so that's why I like Google Ads, and a lot of them's more motivated. You still have tire kickers, but not as many people are just strolling Google and saying, "Oh, well, I'm just going to see what these people have to say." But Facebook, on the other hand, that's more of, "Oh, well, I'm in your face. Well, I've seen this ad. Let's just see what they have to say." But nobody's just on Google scrolling for entertainment. You know, you're on Google to find out something, to learn, to get
Exactly.
a phone number, something. So,
That's good.
yeah, that's a good tip for you guys. You know, Google. I think that's the future.
That's all the more reason too, like we talked about, is to have your website and spend some time on your website. Travis and I spend a lot of time on websites and making sure our SEO and everything is the way it should be. And, you know, that way we get those more of the opt-in type sellers out there. So that's, you know, it's not real flashy and it's not the hot thing, but, you know, good old fashioned SEO, PPC, and direct mail, that stuff always works.
Yeah, and you know, if I was in Georgia, I would love to do direct mail in Georgia. And I would get an attorney to work on our postcard to make sure our postcard was the best legal postcard we could use. And I would just flood with direct mail because if there's all these rules against it and laws against it, people are scared of it. Same with SMS, Matt. You know, you're talking about Georgia, you know, until it's illegal to send SMSs and you're doing everything, you're not doing do not call lists, you know, you're staying, you know, as compliant as possible. You know, use it while everybody else is running away from it because there's a lot of opportunity in it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt, you were talking about, I don't know if you can see that. That's a postcard we sent out here a while back.
Yeah.
I
Tired of
think
seeing it.
I talked to that guy, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, you know, we definitely target it.
Yeah, tired landlords are good in just about any market, man. Is Macon a you said it's a big rental type of area? Like there's a lot
Yeah.
of rentals.
Where we're getting a lot of the sellers that we would like and want to work with, it's been retired landlords. So the property, you know, the landlords aren't in a situation where they necessarily have to sell. They're just like thinking about it. If I can get this price, blah, blah, blah. It's not like, you know, someone passed away and we're helping them in that way. My pitch is, man, we're just trading places. If it doesn't work, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. Let's try to figure it out. And and so yeah, like I said, the younger landlords are, which I mean like 30 and 40, are are more apt to spend my assignment fee on this property basically.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
You know,
if that makes does that make sense?
Yeah.
cool thing about tired landlords, whatever the case might be, is like you said, they understand the business. And for those of you that want to get into the rental business, um, these type of landlords that are retiring, they're tired, they're wanting to move on, do something different. uh, they understand terms.
Mhm.
They understand financing. So they're really good opportunity for you to get in there and get some, installment sale, some owner financing type deals, because they understand the business. It's not foreign to them. So, and they like that too. It can maybe help them with some capital gains and some different things like that to do some financing to you, maybe short term, 3, 5 year, maybe even 15, 20 year. You never know. So it's something to think about.
Do you do those, Matt? Do you ever do any offer creative to people?
Whenever I'm in my process call is what I call like the first call is a process call.
Yeah.
I will kind of try to get that out of them if they're open to it,
Mm-hmm.
but I won't, I definitely don't want that to be because we're wholesaling it. So I think my spread's always gonna be better if we can just do it straight up than to do, owner financing.
Sure, I feel you. I understand what you're saying. I'm
Yeah.
a cash guy. I like to wholesale cash, and I've wholesaled creative deals.
Yeah.
But what I found in the complicating part of that is people always, even though you're gone out of the deal, there's still an attachment. And there's a situation where 6 years ago I assigned a deal over to someone who took over creative. And I still get calls from this lady once a year. If they miss a payment, if something happens, she's calling me and I'm not even in the deal anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't like those type of deals. Like I kind of listen to David a lot. David's taught me over the past few years that, for a creative to really work, there has to be it matters about the character of the person, and it has to have a good roof. It has to have good things on, because if it's not a good house and a good school district, you're really just taking on a problem by taking on a creative.
Hmm.
I've known people that's had hundreds of these, where they've taken them on and they've taken on a lot more than they probably should have in quality of houses. And then they ran into a mess later on. So I was just asking if you ever did anything like that, because I know down there you probably could do a lot of them.
Yeah. I think that if you're doing a owner financing with a seller, then you're probably not helping them that much. So like if I'm not able to, if they're asking me for 65,000 and then my answer to that is, well, I can't do that. I can do this much down and this many payments. I feel like I'm probably trying to squeeze a deal at that point, and there's more leads that you wouldn't have to do that with, and might be wasting time with that. It's also a decision that they're going to have to think about for a longer, I think, than just their cash price. So
Yeah.
I kind of move on and put them in nurture and then come back around to it. I think the people that are considering owner financing, if you waited a little bit, would also consider just a lower cash offer if you just waited. But
What's your biggest pros and cons with all of the creative finance deals that you've done? If you could leave somebody with some good, what would you say is the best part about it, the pluses and the really bad negatives that you found?
Well, I guess the biggest thing is you can't do good business with bad people. So, you got to be, you got to have good people that you're trying to do owner finance type deals with or creative type deals. And that's very important. Um, you know, I like to get the property in my name. Now you can do sub two and you can do a lot of different things, but you're still relying on the potential seller to perform underneath that. And sometimes there can be problems with that as far as, and you could open yourself up to a lot of problems. So I tend to like to do, if I do uh, owner finance or anything like that, I like to do a promissory note deed of trust and actually, they transfer the deed over to me. So that's something that I like to do. I don't always get it that way. Sometimes we do installment sale contracts, installment land contracts here in West Virginia, and so that means the deed stays in the seller's name until I pay it off. But if I get into those deals, I try to pay them off in just a few years and then get them over into my name. But the good thing about it is the cost of entry is low, and you can start, you can get into it, you can cash flow it, you can flip it, you can do whatever you want pretty quick. So, that's the good part. And always do it on good houses. Do it with good houses, good roofs, good this, good that.
Yeah.
Make sure the house is in decent shape. People go in and they take on houses that's got a bad roof and it's got a bad this and a bad that. Then all of a sudden you get the house and now you got to fork out $12,000, $14,000 for a new roof. The heating and cooling was 21 years old. Now all of a sudden it's a new heating and cooling system. And so, if it's not in your name, all of a sudden you're dumping 15, 20, $25,000 into the property. So uh, that's why I always say do it with good houses and do it with
Yeah.
good people.
One time I did a JV deal with a guy in Ohio, and we bought on owner finance, zero down. So we bought five single wide trailers on one lot, like it was on one property. So everything's cash flowing, everything looks good. $2,000 a month, we can split that $1,000 a piece. Everybody's paying. So it went about 8 months of this. Everything was going good. Everything was fine. Well, we didn't do our due diligence. These were all like 1960s trailers. They have electrical problems, flat roofs,
Septic.
yeah, the roofs start leaking. Just one night underneath the water busted underneath the house, and it was like a sprinkler going on underneath the house. So for like 2 years, we couldn't sell this place, and all the cash flow was going into repairs and all. So you just got to be careful. And we're married to this deal now because you've committed to it. And somebody who really commits to something, they want to follow through. I don't want to leave this seller, empty-handed and blind and just disappear on her. I'm not going to do that, right? So you got to have good character, and you got to know when you're taking on these deals. Like, even though you can get a house or a piece of property with no money down, it's very possible when you do it like this. There's just a lot of risk that comes along with it, right, David?
Yeah, there's a lot of risk, and when you take on somebody's property, I mean, you have to be beyond reproach when you get into it. I mean, you have to take on everything and do everything just the way you said you were going to do it. And, that's something I always try to pride myself on, is be a man of my word. And even when things didn't work out in my favor, you still got to pony up. You got to put that roof on. You got to do those things if you're doing some sort of a creative finance. You got to spend that money. And so, yeah, um, it takes both parties, doing the right things for these creative finance type deals to work out.
Yeah. I know we're running out of time. There's a few people that haven't even talked. I don't know if you guys are busy or if you want to, but before we leave, I'd like to just, if anybody has any more questions or wants to introduce herself, this is the perfect time to do it. I know Jared's on here, Christian. We got Zoom user. I think that's Chris. I'm not sure.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, what's
I
up,
do
man?
have a I do have a quick question. Seller financing a property and not putting the deed ever into your name. How does insuring that property work? I mean, can you get insurance on the property in your name,
You
or
you can, but what you run into as well most of the time is uh, everything's in escrow. So the underlying seller will have insurance on the property, usually in their escrow that you're making the payment on.
mm-hmm,
So,
got you.
they'll be carrying insurance on that. What I do is, if I'm in that situation, Jared, is I go ahead and take out a liability policy on top of that to protect myself as well on the deal.
Okay.
And you can do those. Like if someone done an installment land contract with you here in West Virginia.
Yeah, I
Uh,
had a commercial property like that, and a car hit the building, and the insurance, went to the actual owner of the property. But
yes.
luckily, they gave it to me, to fix the property. But you know, they didn't have to. I just want to avoid stuff like that in the future because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, what you do too is you do a power of attorney on that property with them, and an insurance power of attorney, and you put yourself, into a position there to where, you're part of the deal, even though the insurance company is still going to want to deal with them because, that's who they have the policy with. So
Okay.
that's where you get into that. What I just talked about is you can't do good business with bad people. So the people's got to be above board and square, because that's what you're going to get into. They could easily take that money and not give it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's some of the pitfalls of doing uh, under finance like that. And I've been into those deals before. So
What about the risk too? Like if you're it's not in your name, and let's say you're paying payments on this house, right? But let's say the owner gets a bunch of judgments on them, or somebody comes after him. Like, how does that look for you, David, with you having the property, paying payments on it?
well, the key is if you do any kind of installment land contract, you got to make sure that's recorded In West Virginia, make sure it's recorded and it's on the deed, and you're in there as a lien holder. So you're a junior lien holder to the original mortgage. So you got to make sure you do that. If you don't, you can get wiped out with those liens. Now, if it's an IRS or some type of lien like that, once again, this is not legal advice, but those type of liens can wipe everybody out.
And when you
So,
say recorded, tell them you don't mean you're recording them on video or audio. Tell them what
no,
you
no,
mean.
no. Take it to the courthouse and have, if you do an installment land or you do some kind of creative finance, make sure you have it recorded in the courthouse of the county, wherever you have the deal going. That way, it does create a cloud on the title. You are part and involved in the ownership and the
Yeah.
chain.
And just so you
West Virginia recognizes installment land contracts. So,
And just so you guys know, don't be worried. You don't have to go to the courthouse in every market. Some place has e-recording and they do it for you online, but here in West Virginia, we're old school and you got to walk up there and do it yourself,
yeah.
But
There is some pitfalls like that you face when you do creative finance. So, you just know who you're dealing with and try to make sure they're square people. And you do the same.
all right, I mean if that's it, we're running out of time. I'll let David say goodbye to everybody. But is anybody before we go, did anybody want to say anything else? We have a
Yeah,
few more minutes.
sure. Just quickly, I'll just thank you so much for inviting me to this, Travis. It's been very insightful, a lot of information. I'm personally not in real estate, but Travis invited me anyway because I partner with people in real estate. I work in financial services. But I'm listening to you guys, and this sounds fun. I am on the West Coast, though. So, just a little bit of background quickly. I am a former professional boxer. Now I work in financial services, specifically in estate planning and retirement planning, asset protection, that type of thing. But not to pitch or anything, just to give you guys an idea. But again, thank you for having me on. Sorry, I was driving pretty much the whole time. I don't know what the etiquette is in here, but next week I'll seek to be stationary when wonderful.
Yeah, man. We met on Alignable, right?
We did.
Yeah, man, Alignable. Everybody that don't know about Alignable, that's a secret place to connect with people. So you get to get on like this and have breakouts and you get to meet new people. That's how me and him met and I clicked with him. I was like, "Man, you got to come on and talk to us." So I'm happy to have you, bro, and please come back next week. And if you can't come next week, we're doing it every week. So come back again.
Right. Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. All right, everybody. If there's no more questions, Matt, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Okay. Two things really quick before we leave. Eric Fuller, me and Drew have two properties out with him right now. Everyone I've talked to originally when I first started in West Virginia recommended Eric. Shout out Eric. So I need to get brownie points with him so he'll give me better deals and stuff. But okay. And then also, I have a weird situation right now with a buyer. So it's like my mentor's business partner has a 1031 for $5.5 million anywhere in the country. If anyone wants to JV, my number is in the chat. So yes, I am doing an advertisement. I'm sorry if that's crappy
No, you're
thing to do in a
good.
Zoom call, but I don't know what to do. I need help. So if anyone wants to look at that.
Now, see, that's different. When you're reaching out to JV and connect with people, and try to help each other out, that's different than getting on here and just saying, "Hey, I'm trying to make money, guys. Here's my course or here's whatever." It's a lot different. So that's what this is for all of us to connect and do business together, learn from each other. So I appreciate you, Matt, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for doing this.
Yep, really.
And okay. If that's everybody, I thank you guys for coming. We're really grateful that you spent some time with us. And if at all possible, can you go to our group and just share something about yourself in our group, introduce yourself to our Facebook group. We're trying to get a few more people in the group, so we'd appreciate if you could do that for us. And we're truly grateful, and we look forward to seeing you next week. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at any time. I mean, we'll respond back to you just as soon as possible, and we'll try to help you all we can. Travis?
All right, see y'all next week. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
See you.
Later.